The Grand Canyon is a marvel. When you hear national park, that's the first that comes to mind. While this location may be one of the most interesting places on the planet, we can't help but remember that it's also one of the most mysterious places. The Grand Canyon has been a place of spiritual sights and ancient mysteries for centuries, with many of them still a mystery today. The rocks that form the canyon walls have been in existence for millions of years and hold secrets from a time we may never be able to fully comprehend. From the native tribes who once called it home to the numerous species of animals that call it home, the Grand Canyon is a mystery like no other. And, well, it's gotten even wackier. There's been a new discovery at the Grand Canyon, and it's so outrageous that it's even scared the scientists. Tune in as we get to the bottom of what this discovery was and how it may change everything. Before we do that, we have to get a little background. Starting with just how significant the Grand Canyon really is. It's a piece of history. For many Native American tribes, the canyon has been a sacred land since time began. 11 different indigenous peoples have traditionally visited and resided in or around the region of the Grand Canyon, such as Avassipai, Hopi, Paiute, Navajo, and Zuni people. The Grand Canyon is central to both their creation mythology as well as their religious lives. For instance, the Avassipai, who have resided in and around the canyon for centuries, consider it to be an entrance to heaven or the underworld. The Colorado River at the bottom of the canyon has also been a sacred location for centuries to many of this area's Native American tribes. It is known as a powerful location where a person can go and wash away troubles and burdens in accordance with cultural belief. The river has also served as a source of sustenance for many of the native residents, providing food, water, and passage, as well as religious nourishment. The tribes residing in the and in the surrounding regions have a strong affiliation with it. It has been a part of their culture for centuries, and it still holds that place today. The canyon has been incorporated into many of their fables, traditions, and rituals. It still remains part of who they are and a source of religious nourishment for them. Those visiting the Grand Canyon need to be respectful of this relationship that has been ongoing for centuries. They need to be sensitive to the ancient history and culture of the region when visiting. It is a place of stunning beauty and ancient cultural presence to be respected and enjoyed. The Grand Canyon is quite literally a part of history. With all the layers of sand and soil, you strip things back all the way back to hundreds of years ago. While Native American history may be one of the most significant parts of the Grand Canyon, we can't help but recall that it is a part of U.S. history as a whole as well. The entire process is a classic case of the resilience of American history, surviving hundreds of years of change, both positive and negative. For centuries, humans have had their own agendas for the canyon, from constructing hotels to mining. But thanks to the efforts of then-President Teddy Roosevelt, the Grand Canyon was preserved and declared a national monument in 1908. Due to the vision of President Roosevelt, his successors decided to leave the canyon alone in its natural form. They demolished hotels and buildings already up on the rim of the canyon and implemented protective laws, officially declaring the Grand Canyon a national park in 1919. Today, the Grand Canyon stands as a testament to the western United States and is widely considered one of the 7 wonders of the natural world by UNESCO's World Heritage Site program. It's also been designated as an international biosphere reserve for its significance in the world's biodiversity. The Grand Canyon, with its stunning views and unspoiled majesty, is an experience one cannot forget to witness, and it's a testament to just how far we've progressed in preserving our planet's most valuable jewels. This is no mere canyon that exists as a part of history, though. It gives back as well. What does the Grand Canyon give back to humans? The fame of the Grand Canyon is not only popular with United States tourists. International tourists from all over the world travel to see one of the world's greatest natural wonders up close, attracted to its geological, archaeological, and cultural attractions. In 2018, 29% of Grand Canyon visitors were international tourists, and they represented over 1 million total visitors. The economic stimulus that these tourists provide is considerable. Visitor spending helped support over 11,000 local jobs and had a cumulative effect to the local economy of over $1.2 billion, according to the National Park Service's Economic Benefits to Local Communities from National Park Visitation Report of 2018. The Havasupai are one of 3 tribes that own a portion of the Grand Canyon, and their tribal lands encompass the entire west rim of the canyon, including Supai Village, 8 miles below the rim and only reachable by mule, helicopter, or on foot. It's where the Havasupai people market guided tours and camping permits to tourists each year, and the permits sell out within less than a week of being placed on sale. This represents over $18 million each year in tourism dollars from the camping permit fees alone. Besides tourism, the Grand Canyon also has a significant effect for people who live in its vicinity by providing clean drinking water and recreational use for millions of people. These include the Havasupai, Hualapai, and Navajo tribes who have inhabited the canyon for centuries. These tribes rely on tourism to sustain themselves financially and preserve their culture through storytelling and craft. Humans are not the only ones benefiting from this geological marvel. It's the animals as well. The wildlife of the Grand Canyon, the California condor, is a wonderful bird and has a wonderful history. In the early 20th century, their population dwindled to just 22 birds total. Fortunately, with conservation efforts and successful reintroduction programs, they have been able to come back from the brink of extinction. The birds in the region are also a wondrous sight to behold because of the fact that they're protected in the canyon as well as possible. These birds grow to be very healthy and live long lives. Most of them have a very impressive wingspan of up to 9 feet. Condor in the region were not doing so well to survive a few decades ago. 6 condors were introduced to the Grand Canyon region with the start of the reintroduction program in 1983 and have had excellent success. In consideration of the fact that they only started with 6, it's unbelievable to consider how the numbers have already climbed up to over 75. The American bison also found safe refuge in the Grand Canyon region. It's no secret that the bison once roamed in great numbers throughout North America, but their numbers quickly dwindled due to overhunting and loss of habitat. A herd was driven down from the north into the region of the Grand Canyon in the early 1900s and were able to create a safe zone there free of hunters. With little human interference, the bison were left to thrive, and a herd of about 500 can now be found in the area of the North Rim. While the Grand Canyon might look like it's just a bunch of rock formations, it's clear that it's a lot bigger than that. Even the formations themselves are a mystery that geologists have been trying to solve for decades, trying to find out the deeper wonders and secrets of the site. The Grand Canyon is not your average canyon. How did it form, anyway? The Grand Canyon was formed over millions of years through the erosive action of the Colorado River. The river carved through sedimentary rock layers to create the steep walls and meandering paths of the canyon. Scientists believe that process began about 5 million years ago when a natural dam of sediment created a lake in northern Arizona. As the lake drained away, the Colorado River gradually carved deeper and wider, forming the canyon we know today. Wind and water over time have also played a part in creating side canyons, gullies, and other features that make up this landscape. The history of the Grand Canyon is still being unwound, but it's clear that its beauty is the result of a very lengthy and complex process. Centuries of history lie within those rock formations, and in the past few years that history has been revealing itself. Ancient animals revealed in the Grand Canyon. While there are plenty of animals in the Grand Canyon, the one that left everyone in shock, Steve Rowland and his group of researchers were amazed to spot fossilized footprints along a frequently used hiking path, which they estimated as 313 million years old. It is thought that the tracks are of one 4-legged creature with a lateral sequence gait, thus the earliest record of vertebrate animals walking along sand dunes. This generated a lot of speculation in the scientific community about what animal made the prints and what it looked like. Mark Nebel, who oversees the Grand Canyon's paleontology program, said that some of the conclusions are bound to be controversial. The mystery grew deeper when it was found that similar tracks elsewhere were predominantly found in coal beds, not sand dunes. This led some researchers to believe that the footprints could be pointing towards the stage in the evolutionary process when animals were able to lay eggs with protective coverings outside of water. The rock itself detached from the Manacacha Formation and is made of sandstone, limestone, and mudstone, which implies that it used to be a coastal path on the western rim of the supercontinent, Pangaea. This means that dinosaurs were not yet there at the time, so it is most likely that this animal existed before dinosaurs themselves. Now park officials at the Grand Canyon are attempting to determine what to do with the rock since it is in plain view along the Bright Angel Trail and is several hundred pounds. Another section of the rock contains footprints, but it was not extensively studied. Roland and his team would be thrilled to discover more tracks of the same creatures to obtain more facts. But the footprints will be a piece of history that is unknown for now at the Grand Canyon. The theories that have been proposed about these tracks indicates that science is never constant and is always evolving with more facts. It's exciting to consider how many more animals and tales are concealed in the rocks of the Grand Canyon. Proof of earliest man in the Grand Canyon. Scientists have always known a general idea of when man was first discovered on Earth, but a recent discovery about man shook the world of science. Footprints from a time we had no idea man was in America. The footprints that are visible at White Sands Natural Park have been labeled as a great discovery, with consequences that reach far beyond the mere tracking of ancient travel. This historic discovery could indicate a much earlier human presence in North and South America than previously believed. Some archaeologists are contemplating that this discovery could be proof of the earliest humans to inhabit the New World, demonstrating that humans were living in the region as early as 23,000 years ago. This is considerably earlier than the accepted date of 13,000 years ago. The White Sands discovery has generated excitement and controversy among archaeologists and researchers. While the discovery is not enough to finally put to rest the debate regarding when humans first arrived in the Americas, it certainly stokes the fire. Cyprian Ardelean, an archaeologist with the Autonomous University of Zacatecas, has gone so far as to refer to this as the holy grail of archaeology and anthropology. His research at Mexico's Chiquihut Cave supports the theory that humans lived in North America as early as 30,000 years ago. The prints found at White Sands National Park are the first physical evidence of a much earlier human presence in the Americas than ever previously considered, but that is only the beginning of what they found. The Grand Canyon mystery of the dead bodies that disappeared and reappeared. A Hungarian-Korean man had vanished from Las Vegas in July of 2021, his car found parked at the Grand Canyon shortly afterward in mid-August. After an extensive search, his body was found 131 meters below the rim of the canyon. This was a surprise to everyone involved in the search, but what surprised them even more was when they found another body nearby, that of Scott Walsh, a man who had vanished back in 2015 after exiting a shuttle bus at the south rim of the park. His remains were nearly impossible to spot due to his masterful camouflage of his clothing. It wasn't until a search from the air for the Hungarian-Korean man that Scott's body was finally found 4.8 kilometers from where his day pack was discovered 6 years before. No one really had an idea of why the authorities couldn't find the bodies earlier, but then a discovery opened everything up. The Grand Canyon is commonly referred to as a layer cake of geologic history, with its layers of rocks stacked neatly as they have been for millions of years. But at the bottom of the canyon lies a gigantic chasm between these rocks that have kept secrets from the human eye. Recent discoveries have now started to open up this secret space, bringing with it clues and hints that could unlock why sometimes there are things in the Grand Canyon that we simply can't see. The missing billion years in the Grand Canyon. When we glance around at the Grand Canyon, it is hard to believe that this beautiful holiday location has a billion years of history. But scientists recently used a new technique called thermochronology, which traces the history of heat in rock, to study the evolution of the planet from an older world to Earth as we know it today. These scientists tested rocks around the Grand Canyon before discovering that its history was more complex than anyone had ever dreamed. In particular, they discovered that the west and east halves of the canyon may have had different geologic contortions with the passing of time. This variation is believed to be related to the breakup of Rodinia, a supercontinent that started to break up around 700 million years ago. The scientists concluded that Rodinia's fractionation might have influenced the fractionation of the Grand Canyon's eastern and western parts differently and created what we now call the Great Unconformity. The mysterious Great Unconformity has been puzzling geologists ever since its description nearly 150 years ago. This characteristic erosion surface is found all over the globe, but is most prominently visible at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, where 500-million-year-old Paleozoic to peat sandstone lies atop 1.4 to 1.8 billion-year-old Proterozoic Vishnu schist, leaving a mysterious gap in Earth's rock record up to a billion years long. Now researchers at the University of Colorado Boulder believe that they are on the verge of a solution in a paper published recently in the Journal of Geology. The scientists suggest that the missing record in Earth's rock record may be the result of a sequence of earthquakes that shook the region during the breakup of an ancestral supercontinent called Rodinia. The high-energy seismic activity would have broken rocks and sediment into the ocean, creating this lost time interval in Earth's past. The new study illuminates the geological past of the Grand Canyon, one of the most spectacular natural wonders in North America. By examining its layers of rock and sediment, scientists can gain more insight into Earth's past, a journey that starts with the great unconformity itself. No matter where we are, that's the one thing that we all have to return to. That has to be where it all starts. In fact, lead author Bara Peak says the Grand Canyon is a history book, and it allows us to get to the bottom of time and to discover secrets that have remained hidden for billions of years. With this new study, we might be one step closer to knowing about the complex events that have sculpted our planet and its people. Rebecca Flowers, lead author on the study and professor of geological sciences at the University of Colorado Boulder, says new analytical techniques employed in their lab have allowed them to understand the missing window of time along the great unconformity. From what the evidence is indicating, there's a possibility the rocks haven't disappeared, they're moving. Could these rocks be moving up and away? If so, that could account for the bodies of the two men being nowhere near where they were discovered in the canyon. Could the rocks have swept them away and the rocks then exposed them? We're just at the tip of understanding the secrets and mysteries of the Grand Canyon. There are hundreds, possibly thousands, of questions that still have no answers about the area. What else might the canyon be hiding? We're going to have to wait just a little bit longer for the researchers to sift through the data to discover.